All right, we're back. So we had a call coming in. Somebody wrote in to the show, and we had to set up, and we had a scheduling challenge. But the call was so important that I want to read the letter, the note that came in, and answer it here live, because I think this is applicable to all of us. Here's the question. It's from Sydney in San Diego, California. My 16-year-old sister has been having sex with her current boyfriend. I'm concerned as the oldest sister, as our parents allow her to go over to his house under the guise that their relationship is innocent. She had a previous boyfriend when she was 14, in which I had to get her plan B as they had unprotected sex and her boyfriend couldn't get it for her. He was too young. I feel caught in the middle as she's my baby sister, and we've always been relatively close through issues at home. We've always been the only safe space for one another, but her sexual decisions regarding her boyfriends concern me as she has no job, no car, and she's too young to be responsible for the consequences of having sex. I debate telling my parents, but I know this would be a huge breach of trust in our relationship. How should I handle this to keep her safe and respect our relationship? I'm 19 years old, and when she needs help, she's open. She's 19 years old. When it comes to sexual relationships with minors, when it comes to kids, teenagers drinking, trying drugs out, smoking weed, when it comes to adult friendships or relationships, maybe your friend is having an affair, maybe your friend is struggling with disordered eating or some sort of addiction on their own or any number of things. It can also often feel like the most important thing in that relationship is the phrase, I won't tell anyone. This trust. And I happen to have been I've done this for long enough, for 20 plus years, where people got really, really hurt because everyone around them said, I won't tell anybody. And it might have been because they were considering hurting themselves. And they said, you swear you won't tell? I'm like, yeah, I promise I won't tell. Well, I've been having suicidal thoughts and nobody says anything. Or don't tell anybody, but I've been sleeping with so-and-so. And they're 14. They're a child. They're 16. They're a child. And we feel trapped between, it's not my responsibility to say anything, especially when they're adults, right? They promised they wouldn't tell that they're cheating on our mutual friend. And so when we have dinner together as a couple, it's kind of awkward because I know she's sleeping with somebody else, but her husband's here too. And I just come to believe that this question here, I know this would be a huge breach of trust in our relationship. When you're 19 and your 16-year-old sister is putting herself at such catastrophic risk by having unprotected sex as a 14-year-old, as a 16-year-old, the breach in the relationship is not reaching out as an adult, as a 19-year-old, to protect that 16-year-old from themselves. I'll never blame a 16-year-old for being curious about sex and intimacy. I'll never blame a 16-year-old about being curious about alcohol. They're 16. They're hormonal and they're curious. Those two things together. That's like gasoline, meet match. It's the adults in their lives it's our job to create boundaries and safe context and to have connected relationships. It's not our job to keep secrets under the guise of, if I tell on them, they're not going to tell me anything. Maybe. But every one of my friends knows I'll lose that all day long if it keeps you safe. I'll lose that all day long if it keeps my integrity. So there's been relationships I've had in my life where I've said, hey, you got 48 hours and I'm going to make this phone call for you. I've had friends say, when I've told friends, hey, before today is over, you and me you're going to a psychiatric hospital. I drive you, I'll take you, or I'm going to call 911. They're going to come pick you up. But you're going to go. How do you want this to go? I'll call your dad. I'll call your mom. I've told a police officer and another a sergeant that who wanted to wait 12 hours before they communicated to a dad that his son had passed away. I said, you tell your supervisor to call me. I'm calling him right now. So he's not going to wait 12 more hours to find out that his child has passed away. And I called the dad and I told him. And so I guess what I want you to hear me say as we started this new year, number one, secrets will kill you. Secrets will kill you. Secrets will kill your relationships. Secrets will kill your friends. Let 2025 be the year that you don't hold secrets anymore. Be free. Be free. Be free in your house. Be free in your own heart. Be free in your own chest. Be free with your friendships and connectivity. Number two, often the most trusting, loving thing you can do in a brother-sister relationship, in a mother-father relationship, in a sibling relationship, in a best friend relationship is to call out things where you see your friends getting hurt, when you see them doing destructive things, especially in kids. You have no option with kids. You have to ring the alarm with kids. And I understand, hey, if you have a friend who's cheating on her husband, fine. I'm not going to call a husband, but I'm not going to hang out with you anymore. I'm going to step away. I'm going to step away because what you're asking me to do is to not be honest with my partner. You're asking me not to be honest with my friend, your husband, and that is a breach of friendship, right? That's actually a breach of trust. And so, broadly speaking, I have a reputation with my friends and with people who call in, and I work with people all over the country behind closed doors, as being a vault. My wife doesn't know who I talk to. I just keep it quiet. It's just silence. But everyone that I talk to also knows. Now, if there's a reason to make a phone call, Delony's going to make a phone call. And it's not because I'm better. It's because I've been on the other side when I didn't. And I can't get those back. So to Sydney and San Diego, California, as a 19-year-old, a big sister of a 16-year-old, God bless you for being in her life and for being a safe place for her to call. This is when you go get involved directly. Yes, you need to include your parents, unless your parents are absent, they're abusive, they're struggling with their own addictions, and then you need to get a minister involved, a pastor involved, a school counselor involved. You need to get some people involved because your 16-year-old sister is a child. She's a kid, doesn't need to be having unprotected sex at 16 years old. After having unprotected sex with a 14-year-old. It's a kid that's really struggling and reaching out and trying to grab hold of something that resembles connection. And she needs you to bring other adults, probably trained adults, into this situation ASAP. If you're an adult, if you're a grown-up like me, or if you're really old, like kind of the geriatric population like Kelly or others, the responsibility is the same. If you have kids in your life, you have a mandate. You will get involved. If it's abuse, if it's sexual relationships, if it's alcohol consumption, if it's drugs, all that, you will get involved. They're kids. If it's your friends, let this be the year we're not keeping secrets anymore. Breach of trust is often silence. A breach of trust is often silence. Not gossip, but silence.